All right, guys, we're headed to Irvine for a California Mortgage Association little mixer. So I thought I would take this time. There's not many times that I have to sit in a car with a guy who's funded over 800 million, close to $1 billion in loans. And I can ask him some good questions, and maybe he can give us some great answers to give you guys some insight on, one, what does it take to get there, the mindset, and that it takes time. There's patience, consistency, and discipline over time create results. So if you guys don't know who he is, his name is Nareg, last name is Caprelian. He is the co-founder of Loan Titan, an amazing individual, has a very special gift that I might disclose later, or you'll probably see it in the interview. But Nareg, my first question for you, I've been thinking about this all day. I want to know the guy before loans. Because the guy that does loans, I think, is a different identity. But who was the guy before the loan guy?
Well, that's a great intro. Let's just start with that, okay? Thank you, Vic, for the nice words and the background. The guy before loans just didn't know anything about real estate. He knew nothing about mortgage. He knew less about selling. I was not a person that was as good at this craft as I am now, basically. Hold on, let me not miss a freeway right now. So completely different. And I was given an opportunity to start with a bunch of very seasoned veterans, and I just ran with the ball at that point. But I didn't know loans. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to consult people. And I realized very quickly within the first few months, I was actually very good at it. I was very good at doing those things. And my career took off.
It does seem natural to me. I've seen you in action. I don't feel like you sell. I feel like it's just you, who you are, and you've built this. As somebody looking out from outside in, when you look at your life as a young man coming out of USC, right? USC grad.
Correct.
What was loans on your radar, or what was your passion?
Well, I graduated USC in 2007, and I walked into the worst job market in a few generations because the global economy had crashed. So I had odds and ends jobs for a while until I settled into working as a loan officer assistant in the summer of 2010. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I mean, it was just a really, really bad economy to find an entry-level job in. But eventually got into it and realized that it was a lot of fun. It was fast-paced. I like how fast-paced the job is. My personality really works well with doing things quickly and being under pressure on timelines. It just really works well with who I am, how I normally operate in my life. So that worked hand in hand with it. But we got in at a very choppy time. 2010 was a choppy time, but it was a great time to start because the industry contracted so quickly, so fast. So there was a lot less volume than before, but even less people working in the industry at that time. So it was a very, very interesting and great time to get into loans at that point.
So it might speak to a lot of, I think, LOs or even real estate agents that are getting into market today. It's a constricted market, and the opportunity that it provides, which is to grow a brand, to really shine through some of the clouds or some of the lenders who are leaving the business and agents who are living the business. So it's great to know that even in down markets, you could build a brand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in down markets, you have to realize a lot of people doing this job didn't take it seriously. They didn't treat it like a career. They treated it just like a job. And when the well dried up, they scurried off and did other things. Sold other things, got into the industry for the government. So when you get in at a point when it's so fragile and you understand the job and it became more difficult, so you have to be sharper to get into the gig, into the career, and you realize less people were doing it, you could really spread your wings and gain market share pretty fast at that point.
And obviously, it seems like 2010, it wasn't like social media where you see so many people doing it. You know,
That wasn't even
yeah,
out.
right. So, in your 16 years of business, it's a lot of time. That's a long time to be in business and do one thing and masterful at it. Were there at any times the thought of quitting or doing something else?
Yeah, anybody that's had this as a career has had that moment. I've had that moment. I think people would be lying to you if they didn't think that, they didn't say that actually happened to them at some point. For me, it was, I had just changed companies. I went from one platform to the other. It was the summer of 2013. I got recruited to go work somewhere. And by the time I went there, the first, the person that was hired to lead that branch, after the first meeting, that was my first meeting, and his first meeting as branch manager, 6 or 7 people quit immediately. And I was like, oh my gosh. And at that point, there really wasn't any guidance. There was no opportunity there. For about 3 or 4 months, I didn't do much. And I was really struggling at that point. And I was like, what the heck? What the fuck am I doing with my life, right? So you've had those moments. Anybody that's been in the industry long enough is lying to you if they say they never had that moment.
Have you had more than one, or has that been like the one that comes to mind the most? Or
That was the only one. That was the only one. I mean, that came up as a quit moment because by the time that I rebounded, it was like early 2014. Everything I did started working. Transaction flow picked up. I started volunteering my time to assist people even more, even though I wanted to go out on my own with their own loan transactions. Other loan officers at the branch. And it just kind of took off from there. I made relationships, went deep into them, made more new relationships, figured out which ones didn't work and, cut off some and kept on, compounding my time and efforts.
So 16 years, that means you've woken up for 16 years and thought loans and just been about loans.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it, looking back and you're coaching, let's say, a new lender in the business, what does it take to stay in the business? What does it take to keep growing in the business? If there was like a special sauce, I know everyone has their individual sauce, but if you generalize that sauce, what would you feel like is needed to be able to have this kind of business and the thriving business like you've built over the last 16 years?
Yeah, you got to educate yourself. You got to be genuine. You need to give a damn about people. You need to know your numbers right. You need to know your processes right. Have those down, okay? Because if you get those few things right, it quantifies over time. And then all you do is adjust your processes, get on more partners, and then compound your efforts so that you do get more deal flow, right? But if you're getting new into it, you just gotta stay focused and keep doing the reps. The simple stuff, keep doing it. You don't know something, find out about it. Find out why you don't know about it. Then ask the people around you if you still don't know about it. Don't be the person that constantly asks questions without showing that you put effort into finding out the answers on your own, okay? That's very key because you're gonna wear people down. You will wear people down. You don't wanna wear people down. You wanna, when you ask for a favor or some time, you want to make sure that you're showing people you're honoring their time so that they come to you with better answers and better feedback.
Yeah, that's well said. I think you're also a very effective communicator, and you could tell that you've probably read a lot of books on sales and you've perfected your craft over time, because it's something that you drive into us as your sales team is effective communication and ways to make the client feel more comfortable and obviously be able to relay and communicate to our partners. Now, more like on a personal level, like the mindset work that it takes to stay in this business, to constantly show up and build a pipeline. Like, what would you say is the biggest contributor to your success in that arena?
Good sleep, good habits, consistent habits when you put something in place. Like for me, good sleep is very important. I've realized that 5 hours of good sleep is much better than 8 hours of bad sleep, right? And if, obviously 8 hours of great sleep is the best, right? But, I do the simple things like I put on mouth tape, I have a mouth guard, I make sure the room is a certain temperature before I sleep. you need to be of sound mind, right? That's one. Number two, you have to get like your mind right when it comes to working out, walking, hanging out with your kids, walking your dog, whatever it may be, to get your mind right in the times you're not working, right? And then also you have to set boundaries. The busier you get, you got to set boundaries, whether it's your staff, your clients. You got to make sure that they know that you operate in a certain manner, so they honor your time, because you want to be of sound mind to be more accessible to more clients, right? You can't just be spread out completely. You can't be erratic. So those are a few things. But then also I've realized that when you have off days, you can't beat yourself up over it, because you've had an off day or an off week. You have to rebound from it, right? It happens. Things change. Your habits might be broken. Something happens in your life where your schedule gets thrown off. You know, you have to be a little bit agile there and know that not everything's going to be absolutely perfect.
In terms of everyone has their sauce, what would you say is what makes you special that can't be replicated?
I like genuinely reaching out to people on my own. I give a shit about, their personal lives, or the transaction, or why they moved somewhere, the style of house they bought, the reason they did the cash out refi to fund their kids, schooling, or whatever it may be. You have to show people you care. If clients are going to talk to you about the most fragile things in their life, or personal things, you have to listen and remember that stuff and bring it up, because you have to be able to connect with the client, because they confide in you. You're going to confide back in them and ask them about themselves, right? If people like to know you care about their personal life as well, because they've shared it with you. Some people are just business to business. They don't want to talk about that stuff, and all they want to do is close their transaction. It's fine. You got to kind of know your audience at that point.
Yeah, I think you do a really good job of really getting personal, and I think those also manifest into good touches and referrals, right? Because most of your business is BP referrals, and I know you have a big ecosystem. I
also like reading people. I really like reading people, reading body language, reading the tone of how they talk on the phone or even in person. I like that. I like to play poker personally. That's my favorite, one of my favorite hobbies. I like to do that with the people I do business with, because it allows me to get an idea of where they are on that day and how they should be approached, or how they should not be approached. Sometimes people need space. Sometimes people need more of your attention. You have to understand that.
And so to end it, a few things, but with all the success that you built so far, I mean, you have investments, you make great money, you have a great life, you created for you and your family. What's driving you now? Like, what's next for you? Is it keep originating, or what's pushing you today?
I want all the guys that come work at Lone Time to make a lot of money. That's what drives me. I want everybody that comes to work with us to make good money, so that they can invest in their futures. Because when they do well, we as an enterprise do well. We all do well. So I want people around me to do well financially, because it provides a lot of opportunities for them, their families, their future, their retirement. If I can have a hand in making somebody's life better, that's what drives me the most, hands down, bar none.
And I could attest to that, because you've been like that in my life. And he's one of the guys that, I mean, we've shared loans together, large loans. We've made money together. I can't speak enough about that for you. I think it's a gift that you have. You really truly do care about every single person in the company, whether they're from processing to originators to front desk. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference to you. And we'll end with this. One piece of life advice. If you were to tell any young person, your sons obviously are growing up, and you have to give them one thing, what is it?
I'll give two things. Number one, my dad used to tell me this all the time. Don't complain, nobody listens. Don't complain, nobody listens. That's one. That's one. Number two, don't be always available for everybody in your life at all times. People may take your availability as weakness. just be, in Armenian there's a word called zaner. Doner means heavy, so be heavy, and be exclusive, because people will honor that and like that more about you. So yeah.
Damn, this was awesome. So many nuggets. I'm sure you and I will do this more on other topics. Yeah, yeah.
It's great content.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Keep it going,
All right.
baby.
All right, guys.